Hey there, campers. While we're gathering around the campfire, we just want to let you know we are not what you would call experts. What we do have is a love for researching and discussing the lore of cryptids, creatures,
and an occasional spooky woman that can eat our soul.
So if you are in need of immediate help with the chupacabra in your yard, please consult someone else.
Also, this podcast isn't for kids. These campfire stories can contain graphic and explicit content that may not be suitable for young campers, so listener discretion is advised.
Hey campers, my name's Kimmy and I'm here with my co-host Ryan. Sorry. I look so fucking orange. Like on the thing. It's so bad. It looks fine in the software I have it, and then it goes to the live stream and I look so orange every time. It's fine. I need to just spend a day to figure out my recording setup a little bit more. So I'll be the next project on the list of millions of things to do. Speaking of million things to do, what is your Aloreing thing for this episode? Damn! Got swept up. Woo! Damn. I know. I have a plugin on my browser that tracks the prices for like a year.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart. I didn't do that.
It was so funny because I actually got some stuff the week before Prime because last year my app was telling me how that's when things are cheaper, and I got the stuff and then I saw them go up for Prime Day and then be discounted and be more than when I bought it the week before.
Yeah, I knew they did that, but I'm a side. Oh, I got this little. It's like a little Polaroid printer.
Ooh!
So like, you like take a photo on your phone and then it like prints it right away. It's
oh my god!
nifty.
When we finally do podcast photos, hopefully this year, plan it. We should take that and get a picture of Edgar in a Sasquatch suit.
There we go. See, these are way too high quality for that, though. You know, they won't be blurry enough.
Just put Vaseline on the frame.
Call. Well, I'd have to put it on my phone because the phone's the camera. That's what's fun about it.
Oh, that's super cool.
Because I was gonna buy a normal Polaroid camera, but I was like, I'm never gonna bring it anywhere, you know.
Yeah,
but with this one, you always have your phone, so you just like snap a photo and then it prints.
Look at this. This is mine.
See.
And like, it's even my color.
That's true.
And like, I was like, I have to get it, and it just sits here as decoration. Yep. I used it a lot more in college than I do now.
Yeah.
But like when I want to use it, I want to like go to the forest and take photos, and I am a little bit of a city girl, so that doesn't happen as much as I would like it to.
I don't go out enough to justify an actual one, So
Yeah.
this one was like a nice middle ground. It was a little cheaper than an actual camera.
Yeah. A good balance. Little
Yeah,
balance area. I like
exactly.
it. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Getting all
it
your
was kind
tech
of
set up.
cool. Yeah, that one. Yeah. What did you find alluring this week?
Woo. Well, it is officially that time of year where each episode I talk about my Potter party or a craft I am obsessing over for it. So yesterday I did like a low key summer solstice party,
Nice.
and I know it's like a month late, but I got very busy. I haven't had a free weekend since May, so
Fair.
I did it, but it was really cute. I like hung flowers like in the living room, and we all made like flower wreaths, and we did tarot and stuff. So it was just like really cute, kind of like healing for everyone, which is
Yeah.
always really nice. But I'll have to post it in our Discord. I need to start posting more of the stuff we talk about in our Discord for our like Aloreing fun stuff.
Yeah.
But I made like house wreaths to each Hogwarts house, and I did it as like the Deathly Hollow symbol. So they look
that's
really
cool.
cute. But they're like prizes for people that dress up for the Potter parties.
Nice. I like that. Then I feel like it's so hard to get people to actually dress up. Like,
Man,
for parties.
so when Edgar and I first started dating, it was cute because like his friends are sweet, so they came through. And I was like, you need to tell your friends to dress up. And he was like, I'll tell them to dress up. And some of them didn't come dress up. And
Yeah.
I was like, look at what I've created. Now look at you.
Yeah.
You need to match the level for me, you know? And it's really funny because now they know, and like they won't let other people come unless they dress up, which is really cute to me.
I love that.
So it's so funny. And like I get when people can't dress up. So like I put in the invite, like if you need help with a costume, I will help you.
Yeah.
It's just like if you come to this thing where it looks literally like the environment inside, you know, and everyone's dressed up and you're like in jeans and a tee, you're not going to have as much fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't get as into the party as everyone else.
Yeah, and people get into it, like, and that's what makes it so fun. And it's great. I kick people out though. I don't care. Like I'll have someone show up, they're like, I'm a muggle, and I'm like, no entry to Hogwarts. And I'll like close the door. I don't care. I'm like, I have plenty to deal with, and I do not want to deal with a muggle right now. Just close the door. So. But it's great. That's my big thing is I made Harry Potter wreaths, and next I will be finishing a giant tapestry of the mermaid stained glass for my bathroom. So,
wow.
It looks so cool. Like, maybe I'll post a progress photo, but I made it so it's like on a tablecloth, like a fabric one. So when the light shines through, it looks like stained glass. It looks so cool. I'm like, I may have to make like 2 more because I'm very happy with how it's turning out. But I'm just getting crafty and ready for the spooky season.
Yeah, 'tis the season for it.
'Tis the season. Anything to escape the thought of the hell of the summer we're all living through right now, you know? Oh, man, it's too damn hot.
It's literally disgusting outside. If you're flying a private jet, I blame you. Speaking of hellfire, shall we jump into this week's episode?
I took a sip when you did that. Yeah, let's do those campfire sounds. Woo! Okay.
Oh no!
Ryan, this is the second episode in a row.
See, here's the thing. I'm like, okay, I need to double check and make sure that I actually did my Aloreing alignment chart, because the amount of times I've done it and then it hasn't been in the slideshow too many times. Now I check, and here we are.
Either Ryan and I are on time and disorganized, or disorganized and like 40 minutes late. So
oftentimes both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah. All right. Where was it? Okay. Why this fair creature chose so fairly? by the wayside to linger, we shall see. But first 'tis fit to tell how she could muse and dream when the serpent prison house. What the heck are we talking about?
So, you've probably heard of the boogeyman, a type of mythical creature used by adults to frighten children into good behavior, which is, quick note, it's crazy because I feel like when we talk about a topic, because these are picked randomly, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything except a sentence of what people suggest it to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like we keep talking about the boogeyman lately. So I just think that's like kind of weird. But
Well, I feel like the boogeyman is such a like broad net.
yeah,
You know?
that's fair. It's kind of like the word cryptid.
Yeah, like the boogeyman is just anything like creepy at night that scares children, which is like 50% of folklore. Half of folklore is to scare children, 45% is to scare women, and that small 5% to scare men, you know. That's about it.
Oh man, the patriarchy of the fairy tales kind of just hits a little harder when you get older, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that's like specifically like targets maybe like sirens, but even that it's like, but don't worry, they're hot. Like
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, even every deadly legend there is, like, of a deadly beautiful creature that lures men, they're always kind of like, but it's fine because if something happens to her, she was evil.
yeah, well, and 90% of the time it's like, yeah, it targets men, but really you women need to be careful so that you don't turn into the thing that kills the men, you know?
Right.
Now there's a bit of a trend out there, you know.
Oh, there's a pattern.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is.
It's fine. Every day we get closer to the realization of why aliens don't communicate with us, and I just it just makes more sense, you know. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Yeah, what the heck are we talking about?
What are we even talking about? So, what if I told you that one of the OG boogeymans was no man, but a woman cursed by the gods?
What?
So, she had a curse so awful that the people told legends about how if a child misbehaves, they will become her next meal. So, this week, we'll be talking about the deadly and misunderstood shape-shifting snake. This creature is known as Lamia, or I think another way they pronounced it was Lamia, not llama.
Llama.
Lamia.
Yeah, I looked it up. There was a bunch of pronunciations. It was like Lamia, Lamia.
There was like Lammy or something like that. There's
it really depends on who you ask.
Yeah,
I think Lamia makes the most sense personally, but
yeah, so that's the one we're going to go with. So this creature has been around since 700 BC, and there are many variations of this cursed monster can be seen in different legends and lore from all around the world to this very day. For all our beautiful audio listeners, if you would like to see this week's illustration, you can head to our Instagram or website or come to YouTube and look at where Ryan is pointing. He's doing his beautiful Wheel of Fortune point, like one of those models, to the lovely Lamia bottle, which is really... This one I had a little hard time with, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Because, like, I wanted it creepy, but not.
Have you seen, man, what was it called? It was like an old, like, Pixar monster movie where, like, one of the, like, monsters is, like, a slime ball. That's what it kind of looks like. Please, yeah, I'll figure it out, you know?
Yeah, I was like, you gotta get back to me on that one. We'll circle back. We'll put a pin in it for now. All right, so while he's looking that out, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her. So, where is she? Where did she come from? Where did she go? Well, this is one of the rare moments where we're going so far back in history that we're actually able to trace the origins directly to Greek mythology. So, what better way to start than with a story of how Lamia came to be? So, she was the queen of... Also, because Ryan's giggling, because there's a lot of tatas in this, and YouTube has not freed the nipple quite yet.
Not quite.
So, Camp Counselor Mothman is working hard on his censorship, and though...
Uncensored slideshow on Aloreing.com.
Our Patreon may have the free the titty because it's just a boob, is how I see it.
It's not just a boob, it's a Lamia boob.
Oh, it's a Lamia boob.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you see a little purple Mothman that's really tiny, he's doing the Lord's work, apparently.
So here's my question. Let's say that is an animal, you know, like half animal, half person. That's not where they go on any animal, except maybe humans, but the anatomy just doesn't quite work out there.
It's like when that really weird guy that just learned about tits starts drawing them in middle school, and he draws them really high and
like
really round.
For some reason.
Yeah, like on the collar.
Yeah, that's good job. Good job, 17th century artist. You did a really good job.
We know a woman didn't draw it. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Like, can't find anything else, but I can tell you the artist was not female.
She would have been a witch.
Yeah, because she would have been a witch. Oh, man. You know, the after chat for this episode is going to be a hot mess.
This is going to be a long episode. We're not even on page 2.
Woo! Anyway, queen from ancient Libya and was known for her extraordinary beauty. So, due to her ethereal appearance, it wasn't long until thirsty old Zeus took a liking to her. Lamia and Zeus then started to have an affair, which resulted in her giving birth to not one, not two, but several children. Now, Zeus is a married man, and after Hera heard about the affair, she became quite vengeful. Full of rage, she showed no mercy towards the mortal queen and cursed her with insomnia, so she no longer had the ability to close her eyes. The curse also resulted in Lamia devouring her own children and being forced to eat any child she gave birth to, which meant that every time the queen gave birth, she had to kill them, which fucked up curse, you know. So, since she was unable to close her eyes and sleep, Lamia obsessed over the loss of her children and became so mad she began snatching up kids or babies from their mother that were more fortunate than her, and she would devour them whole. Mm-hmm. Over time, these cruel acts changed her physical appearance, disfiguring her face and changing her to become an ugly monster. Now, upon learning this, Zeus realized he may be a wee bit responsible for what happened.
That doesn't sound right.
And feeling bad, he took his baby mama down to Italy.
Oh,
now,
that's a nice little vacation.
Yeah, so he took her down, and it wasn't common for Zeus to help out the girls he knocked out. Knocked out too.
Maybe
Jesus.
Both. We're not sure.
I had a little drink before this, and I should not have. I should have waited a second. But it was rumored that him and her actually had a consensual relationship, and they were lovers. And she was one of his favorite lovers, so he took empathy for all the pain she was going through. So once they arrived, he gave her the power of prophecy and the ability to take out and reinsert her eyes. That way she could rest. So she could take out her eyes and put them in a dark container, and she could sleep. Because she can't. Girl don't got eyelids anymore, you know? So, to this day, legend says she still lurks in the caves, resting during the day and snatching up those who misbehave at night. So, this story, though the most famous explanation for who Lamia is and where she came from, I was also able to find a historical figure that could be a non-mythological explanation to who she was. So, Diodorus Siculus, so in 1st century BC, told of Lamia, the queen of Libya. Unlike the mythological tale, she was never kind in her life, and as queen, she ordered soldiers to snatch up children from their mother and kill them. I couldn't find much more about why she did it. She just did it.
Why not?
But again, history rewritten so much, so who knows? And due to the evil she committed by ruthless killing, her beauty gave, and she soon gained a more beast-like appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from a cursed woman to a vengeful one, the story of a savage, shape-shifting, dangerous woman definitely made for a good story. In fact, there's even a collection of modern Greek folk tales that have a spin on the story of Lamia. So, the most famous spin paints Lamia as an ogress similar to Baba Yaga. So she lives, or Fiona from Czech for all our more modern listeners. So she lives in a remote house or tower eating human flesh and has many magical abilities and objects on hand. In all modern Greek retellings, it's crucial that the hero of the story must either avoid her, trick her, or gain her favor in order to continue their quest. Now, in some tales, she's even it's her daughter, so she has a daughter that survives, and her daughter is also a magician, but she helps the hero, and eventually the hero will fall in love with the daughter with the hero. And that's where this painting's from. It's from Waterhouse, which is one of my favorite artists. And it's her just talking with the soldier and falling in love. And I think it's really cute.
Makes more sense. It's the daughter. I was like, that doesn't look like a monster. That's a lawful good right there, right?
Listen, you know how there's like the theory, 100% lawful good. You know how there's the theory that we've lived a bunch of lives and sometimes we see the artwork of like our past lives, you know?
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
I haven't, but I'm tracking.
Okay, so I believe I was Waterhouse in one of my past lives. Like, if you take a minute to look at all of his artwork, you would be like, that checks out.
Okay.
And I may have like 12 of his paintings in my home.
Wow.
So I adore his stuff. But he does a lot of like redhead mermaids that are like a little bit sad looking and a lot of lover stuff. And I just absolutely adore his work.
That tracks.
So I've been consistent throughout every lifetime. Yeah. So these stories were a major part of Greek lore, even becoming popular during the Romantic period, which is one I always talk about here because it's one of my favorites. During this time, she was used a lot as a muse for paintings, poetry, and fine arts. After this peak, the popularity of the shape-shifting babe did die down a bit. Thankfully, she didn't disappear into the shadows. Now, I think you would love this cover. Just cause it just reminds me of like your movie taste.
Well, that's Dolly Parton as a singer.
Yes.
100%.
So I just think it's so great. So today we may not see her as much in pop culture, but her stories still hold true, and she can be seen in like an occasional comic book, old-time horror movie, or even illustration. So though there are all retellings of this classic tale, there's something about a woman cursed by the gods that make for a great, morally gray, hot villain. And I am here for every second of this episode. So, quick word breakdown. Lamia's name is the Greek word for a large, dangerous, lone shark, and that's due to the fact she is the daughter of Poseidon.
Oh.
I don't want to get too much into the family.
Her uncle.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to get too much into the family tree. There's a lot of problems.
Family circle.
Yeah, they're sweet home Alabama-ing it a little bit. So,
Yeah.
So, Lamia has also gone by Mormolaka, or Mormo for short, which is a word that can roughly translate as the terrible wolf-like monster. So that's all I got for history and breakdown. I want to hand it over to Ryan. He has a little bit of a longer story for us, but it is good, so it is worth it.
All right. First, I need a volunteer from the audience for voice actor. Thanks for volunteering, Kimmy. Would you like to be green, or would you like to be blue?
Ooh. So I organized it from the most amount of words to the least amount of words.
All right.
To kind of help you out.
How about you be the king?
Okay.
I'll be the servant, and Lamia. All right. This is the Snake Woman and the King, Ali Martin, Flora, Annie Steele. All right. Once upon a time, King Ali Martin went out a-hunting. As he hunted in the forest above the beautiful Dal Lake, which stretches clear and placid between the mountains and the royal town of Srinagar, he came suddenly on a maiden, lovely as a flower, who seated beneath a tree was weeping bitterly. Bidding his followers remain at a distance, he went up to the damsel and asked her who she was, and how she came to be alone in the wild forest. "Oh, great king," she answered, looking up at his face, "I am the emperor of China's handmaiden, and as I wandered about in the pleasure grounds of this palace, I lost my way. I know not how far I have come since, but now I must surely die, for I am weary and hungry."
"So, fair maiden must not die while Ali Mardan can deliver her."
He said, "No, babe, please, you're too hot."
"You're too hot to die.
No,
You can't die, you're so hot. No."
Quoth the monarch, gazing ardently on the beautiful girl. So he bade his servants convey her with the greatest care to this summer palace in the Chamelier Gardens, where the fountains scatter dewdrops over the beds of flowers, and laden fruit trees bend over the marble colonnades. And there, amid the flowers and sunshine, she lived with the king, who speedily became so enamored of her that he forgot everything else in the world.
If he's not like that, I don't want it.
Right? Ladies, if your man doesn't get you a palace with a water fountain scattering dewdrops over beds of flowers, drop his ass. Get out of there.
Drop his ass.
So the days passed until it chanced that the yogi's servants came back from the holy lake Gangbal, which lies on the snowy peak of Haramuk, whither he went every year to draw water for his master. Passed by the gardens, and over the high garden wall he saw the tops of the fountains, leaping and splashing like silver sunshine. He was so astonished at the sight that he put his vessel of water on the ground and climbed over the wall, determined to see the wonderful thing inside. Once in the garden, amid the fountain and flowers, he wandered hither and thither, bewildered by beauty, until, wearied out by excitement, he lay down under a tree and fell asleep. Now, the king, coming to walk in the garden, found the man lying there, and noticed that he held something fast in his closed right hand. Stooping down, Ali Martin gently loosened his fingers and discovered a tiny box filled with sweet-smelling ointment.
Ooh.
While he was examining this more closely, the sleeper awoke and, missing his box, began to weep and wail, whereupon the king bade him to be comforted, and showing him the box, promised to return it if he would faithfully tell him why it was so precious to him.
The king's really chill. Someone just came and popped up in his court. You know what I mean?
He has a gentle heart. He sees people crying, and he's like, all right, I can fix you.
I get it. I've been there, done that, you know.
"Oh, great king," replied the yogi servant, "the box belongs to my master, and it contains a holy ointment of many virtues. By its power I am preserved from all harm, and am able to go to the Gangbal and return with my jar full of water in so short a time. That my master is never without the sacred element." The king was astonished, and looking at the man keenly said,
"Tell me the truth. Is your master indeed such a holy saint? Is he indeed such a wonderful man?"
"Oh, king," replied the servant, "he is indeed such a man, and there is nothing in this world he does not know." This reply aroused the king's curiosity, and putting the box in his vest, he said to the servant,
sorry. I know it's supposed to be human, but I'm just imagining a little cobalt. Talking to him. And this is like a really beautiful, like, Indian folklore story, so it's so funny in my head because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't match up.
It doesn't.
We're not professional voice actors, all right? I got like 3 I got.
My only man voice is a variation of Bernie Sanders every time. It doesn't change, you guys.
I'm once again asking you to return my box, that you may give it to your master. Your master does not need all these boxes. The top 1% of the 1% have all the boxes.
I can't. Sorry, that was too good. Okay, I get it. I see the highlight. I really tried. Okay. Go home to your master and tell him King Ali Mardan has his box and means to keep it until he comes to fetch it himself.
See, you say it sounds like Bernie Sanders. To me, it sounds like Nixon from Futurama. Like that version of Nixon. That's what I get from it.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I never get like this in mid-story. This is ridiculous. Okay.
So, in the way Kimmy just described, he hoped to entice the holy yogi into his presence. So, in case you lost track of the story, so the servant, seeing there was nothing else to be done, set off to his master. But he was 2 years and a half in reaching home, because he had not the precious box with the magical ointment, you know, the one the yogi has. And all this time, Ali Mardan lived with this beautiful stranger in the Chamalier Palace, and forgot everything in the wide world except her lovelies. Yet he was not happy, and a strange look came over his face, and a stony stare into his eyes. Now, when the servant reached home at last, he told his master that what had occurred. The yogi was very angry, but as he could not go on without the box which enabled him to procure the water from Gangabal, he set off once to the court of King Ali Mardan. On his arrival, the king treated him with the greatest honor and faithfully fulfilled the promises of returning his box. Now the yogi was indeed a learned man, and when he saw the king, he knew all was not right. So he said, "O king, you have been gracious unto me, and I, in my turn, desire to do a kind action. So tell me truly, have you always had that white, scarred face, and those stony eyes?" The king hung his head. "Tell me truly," continued the holy yogi, "have you any strange women in your palace?" Then
he's like, "This dude looks fucked up. I know what it could be. A woman.
Perhaps a dami mommy in your palace, my king?" Then Ali Mardan, feeling a strange relief in speaking, told the yogi about the finding of the maiden so lovely and forlorn in the forest. "She is no handmaiden of the Emperor of China. She is no woman," quoth the yogi fearlessly. "She is nothing but a Lamia, the dreadful 200-year-old snake which has the power of taking women's shape." Now the king liked cougars. So hearing this, King Ali Mardan was at first indigent, for he was madly in love with the stranger. But when the yogi insisted, he became alarmed, and at last promised to obey the holy man's orders, and so discover the truth or falsehoods of his words. Therefore, the same evening, he ordered 2 kinds of khichdi to be made ready for supper, and placed in one dish so that one half was sweet khichdi. We're going to look that up real quick.
Yeah, I need a minute. I'm sorry, you guys. The Nami Mommy thing really got me.
I was just checking it out. So it's a cauliflower, potato, green pea, and other vegetable dish commonly eaten by babies. Good to know.
Interesting.
So one half was that, and the other half salt. Now, when, as usual, the king sat down to eat out of the same dish with the snake woman, he turned the salt side towards her and the sweet side towards himself.
Oh, they're eating from the same plate.
Because as we all know, women don't like salt. She found her portion very salty, but seeing the king eat his with a relish and without remark, finished hers in silence. But when they had retired to rest and the king, obeying the yogi's orders, had feigned sleep, the snake woman became dreadfully thirsty. You know, because the salt. In consequence of all the salt. Yeah, it says it. Okay. That she longed for a drink of water, which is a clear sign that this is no ordinary woman. But riddle me this, Kimmy. There was none in the room, so she was obliged to go the one place she'd never gone. Outside. Now, if a snake woman goes out at night, she must resume her own loathsome form.
Okay.
So, yeah, when women go out in the moonlight, you know, that's when you see the real side of them.
There's actually 3 forms women will take on. We will either become a snake, a mermaid, or there's like the really rare occasion where it's a horse. I can't explain it. just how it works. And it's not centaur either. It's just horse, you know.
True. Yeah, it's just a horse.
It's just a horse.
With boobs on the front for some reason, much like
collarbone?
Yeah, much like our previous
previous one. Oh man. Oh, that one's gonna be a meme.
Now, okay, yeah. So the snake woman goes outside. She must resume her lonesome form. So as King Ali Martin lay feigning sleep, he saw a beautiful form in his arms change to a deadly, slimy snake that slid from the bed out the door into the garden. He followed it softly, watching it drink a very fountain by the way, until it reached the dull lake, where it drank and bathed for hours. Women do be bathing, am I right? Yeah. Fully satisfied of the truth of Yogi's story, King Ali Martin begged him for aid in getting rid of the beautiful horror. This the Yogi promised to do if the king would faithfully obey orders, so they made an oven of 100 different kinds of metal melted together and closed by a strong lid and heavy padlock. This they placed in a shady corner of the garden, fastening it securely to the ground by strong chains. When all was ready, the king said to the snake woman,
"My heart, beloved, let us wander in the garden alone today and amuse ourselves by cooking our own food."
She, nothing loath, consented, and so they wandered about in the garden, and when dinner time came, set to work with laughter and mirth to cook their own food. The king heated the oven very hot and kneaded the bread, but being clumsy at it, he told the snake woman he could do no more, and that she must bake the bread.
Weaponized incompetence.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't escape it.
This she at first refused to do. Go off, queen. Saying that she disliked ovens, but when the king pretended to be vexed, averring she could not love him since she refused to help. Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
You don't love me.
He got really gross really quick, you know?
No longer ship this. So she gave in and set to work with a very bad grace to tend the baking.
Aww.
Then, just as she stopped over the oven's mouth to turn the loaves, the king, seizing the opportunity, pushed her and clamped down the cover, locking the double-locked lid. Oh, no. Oh boy. Now, when the snake woman found herself caught in the scorching oven, she bounded so that had it not been for the strong chain, she would have bounded out to the garden, oven and all. But as it was, all she could do was bound up and down, while the king and the yogi piled fuel on the fire, and the oven grew hotter and hotter. So when it went on from 4 o'clock one afternoon to 4 o'clock the next, when the snake woman ceased to bound, and all was quiet.
Jeez.
They waited until the oven grew cold, and then opened it. when not a trace of the snake woman was to be seen, only a heap of ashes. Out of the yogi took a small round stone and gave it to the king, saying, "This is the real essence of the snake woman, and whatever you touch with it will turn to gold."
Oh my god.
But King Ali Martin said such a treasure was more than any man's life was worth, since it must bring envy and battle and murder to its possessor. So when he went to attack he threw the magical snake stone into the river, lest it should bring strife to the world. And they all lived happily ever after, except for the snake woman who got cooked.
She didn't do shit. Okay.
No, the yogi was just like, bro, she's a snake. And the king's like, what?
Yeah, like, listen, first of all, I'm surprised he dismissed that option so quickly and, like, wouldn't even try it. As a person that's like, hey, give everything a chance once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he shut that down really quickly. So, but she hasn't hurt anyone. She hasn't done shit. Like, maybe he got a little hexed by her. But she was just hot, you know? She wasn't controlling him. He was a little controlling, you know? Like, she was just vibing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was a snake, I guess.
She was a snake. Like,
that was about it. He could have just, like, said, "Could you leave?" Like, I don't want a snake in my house, which is fair. I don't want a snake in my house.
Right.
But yeah, the king started off real good and just really went downhill. I think the moral of the story is don't trust random dudes who show up with magical boxes.
Don't trust men that tell you to croak your girl.
Yeah.
She's a little too hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's not going to get hotter if you cook her, guys. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And he's like, "No, I don't need gold," and throws it in the river. Yeah. And it's like,
when I first read it, I thought it was going to end up being like the story of Midas, where he like turns himself into gold by touching himself, which is a euphemism, I'm pretty sure. But
the Catholics are, write that down. Write
it down. Anyway, if I had a gold stone, I know where I'd spend it. And
where would you spend it, Ryan?
With these sponsors during this commercial break.
Oh,
that was a good one. All right, we'll see y'all in like, I don't know, a minute or something.
Yeah.
I love the peach color, or salmon. I don't know if it's salmon or peach.
I think it was peach.
But it looks good.
I have a list of things I'm going to order before we do photos when we do a camping trip, and this may be one of the top items
I am
wanting.
It looks good. Look, guys, it's already August. I know it's like 300 fucking degrees out right now, but it's gonna be like 5 degrees in what feels like a week. So
well, this is a
windbreaker. Oh. Well, you know, for me, that's like winter clothing where I live. We don't wear windbreakers.
For all our Minnesotan listeners,
yeah.
You know.
For all you windy folk out there. Yeah, check out Aloreingshop.com. Kimmy has been literally not sleeping, just throwing shit in there. So check it out. Help her sanity. Yeah, that's true. I got like 2 hours last night. I'm feeling good, feeling fresh. Shout out Coke Zero. All right, this commercial break is more just because I needed a sippy sip. All right, let's get back to the freaking episode. Yeah,
go to the shop.
Yeah, go to the shop. What are you doing? You're watching on YouTube. Like, it's free. You know,
open another tab.
Yeah, right now. Do it.
Double screen it.
Right now. All right. Anyway. Ow! We're back. I love how long the howl draws on. It's just so unnecessary.
I love how awkward. It's just long enough to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
As it should be.
So you sit there thinking like, should I start?
I'm counting in my head and then I miss my cue every time. So, welcome back, campers. We hope you enjoyed that little break. We are now going to talk about the appearance and some like fun events surrounding her. So, here's a lovely image again. Mothman working so hard, covering those nips.
This one makes sense though, you know.
Well, there's like another
anatomy-wise makes sense. Like,
oh yeah, no, this
correctly located.
This is Waterhouse, like
yeah.
Again. But like the thing is, he also made another one of this where she's like all covered, but it's like blue, and I feel like it doesn't give off the same vibe. Yeah, so
this one's bad.
We went for the side boob, naturally. So appearance-wise, and what we're seeing is she was a queen before the curse, and she was known for her extraordinary beauty. But that didn't last long. After the curse took hold of her, she dramatically changed into a more serpent-like appearance. There are a few legends saying she just looks like a giant snake with a human head, but a majority of them describe her as half woman from the waist up and half snake from the waist down.
That's not that bad.
No, I can work with that.
It's basically just a slithery mermaid.
Yeah, see, easy. I can easily work with that.
It work. Yeah.
Yeah, the king was tripping.
Other way around, maybe not so much. snake upper torso, human legs. I don't know.
Reverse mermaid will always be my favorite type of mermaid. Regarding her face, I'm not saying that. Regarding her face,
I think you should say it.
I was gonna make like a lip like tasting like fish joke either way, and it's that's the censored version.
It's fishy either way.
It's fishy either way. It just depends what parts you're more into, I guess. Funny. If you're an ass or a boob person, that's all it comes down to.
Fishy either way.
Oh man. Woo, okay, regarding her face. That was the censored version of that. That was regarding her face. It depends who you ask. At first she was described as a horrible looking monster, but as time went on, she was more romantic, as she was described as beautiful but deadly. From a famous poem, Lamia, written by John Keats, he writes one of the most dreamy descriptions of this creature's appearance. So let's see if I can get through this.
Yeah, you gotta read it like dreamy like though.
She was a gorgeous shape of dazzling hue, vermilion spotted golden green and blue.
That's your dreamy voice?
Ryan!
She was a Gordian shape of dazzling hue, vermilion spotted, golden green and blue, striped like a zebra, freckled like a pard, eyed like a peacock, and all crimson barred.
Ryan said, "No fucking way are you reading this."
Full of silver moons that as she breathed, dissolved or brighter shone or intertwined their lusters with the gloomier tapestries, so rainbow-sided, touched with miseries. She seemed at once some pensed lady elf, some demon's mistress, or the demon herself. Upon her crest she wore a wannish fire, sprinkled with stars like Adrana's tire. I don't know what that means. Her head was serpent, but bittersweet. She had a woman's mouth, with all its pearls complete. And for her eyes, what could such eyes do there, but weep and weep, that they were born so fair.
Ryan, how dare you interrupt my segment?
Eyed like a peacock and all crimson barred, of the full silver moons, and as she breathed.
I'm trying my best. And I get nothing but criticism and bullied on my own damn show. This is what I get. Don't try, folks. That's the moral of the story.
Kimmy's the brains of the operation. You know what I mean?
I just love how you were like, I'm not even going to give her a chance. I'm just going to keep.
You didn't get the assignment. Is what I was saying.
It was like no. I was like going for like 90s, like when like the fairies will go to the queen and ask of an old tale, dreamy vibes.
I was thinking like 90s late night radio host.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we just get swooned by different things, Ryan. It's okay.
Yeah, you're more of a high-pitched British woman is your kind of thing, I guess. She was gaudy and shaped and like Ron Weasley's mom. That's what.
Yeah, that's a voice doing. I need to really practice because I think that would be great to have for our stories. So now jumping back to creepy. We're going to talk about her whole eyeball situation. So, little PSA for people that don't like eye stuff, because this kind of gets rough. Due to the curse, she has no eyelids and has been described as having large bloodshot eyes that are unable to blink. She is able to remove them due to the blessing Zeus bestowed upon her, though. So she will remove them during the day and place them in a jar or vessel, leaving her blind to everything around her. And during the night, she pops those suckers back in, and those bad boys... wow, I wrote that word. During the night, she will plop those bad boys back in and search her cave for her next victim. I know, some people don't really like eye stuff, and I realized I was like, maybe I'll do a little note for that. I don't care, but... I get it. Okay, so now on what was it? Did you know that was a thing people are into? Is licking eyeballs?
Licking?
I had a roommate.
That sounds like something in your state, not where I live. That sounds
like a Utah Mormon thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a Utah thing. I didn't want to say it, but you already did, so...
As an ex-Mormon, I can say it.
Yeah, that's...
That,
I mean,
that was actually one of the more...
No shame, but, maybe move to Utah.
Or maybe find a Lamia,
Get yourself a Lamia. You can pop those bad boys in your mouth. Suck on
like
them
a jawbreaker,
night.
Yeah.
Keep it in your jaw all day. Like Ed and Eddie.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay.
Let's move on.
So now on top of looking horrifying, this girl also got some wild abilities. So first is she knows how to accessorize. So some of the descriptions, she's known to have a hissing snake that protrudes from the cleft of her rusty colored forehead. This animal companion would slide into children's bedrooms at night and snatch them up. She can shapeshift into a beautiful woman with no snake features, which allows her to easily get her next meal. She moves gracefully. Yeah.
With a king.
Yeah, so like, she didn't even kill a king. She didn't kill anybody. She was with him for a long time. That's fair.
She may have been killing people the whole time.
He's like, wow.
It's implied.
He's like, the servant turnover is so high right now.
They keep having kids and just sending them off to boarding school or something. I don't know.
So the next is she moves gracefully, much like a flowing stream of water, and this could be because her dad's Poseidon. And the last one is she can create an illusion of like a miraculous mansion, including people, guests, servants, and even tiny details no one would notice. So this is how she'll like trap her victims. And it's very difficult for people to see past her illusions, but if someone senses it isn't real, they can quickly escape it.
So is it possible the king didn't have a castle at all? And it was all just an illusion?
So he did, but
that's what we think.
When the yogi was like, oh, he has like a gazed look to him. That's what that was implying. Because when he left, the gaze fell.
Yeah.
And regarding her behavior, this girl has gone full crazy, which is completely valid after the curse Hera placed on her. So, that being said, she isn't a creature you want to run into. You will become her next meal, especially if you are a man or a child. So, make sure to watch yourself. Now, 2 events. The tragic tale of Lamia tells of how... So there are some versions...
Read your title of this section before you...
The title of this section is Kids, Am I Right? It all makes sense as I go. So, her tragic story, there are some versions that say Hera kidnapped the kids and killed them, or while Lamia was eating her children, some escaped. So, 7 is a lot of kids to keep track of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, there were 3 of them who were able to escape the danger. And these 3 became very powerful sea creatures famous in Greek mythology. So, the first one is Scylla. She's a sea monster who haunts the rocks of narrow straits opposite to the whirlpool of Charybdis. It's said that she has drowned over thousands of men who have tried to get too close to the rocks on their travel, devouring them very quickly by darting her 6 monster heads at them and like snatching them up like... And her cries are similar to the sound of a dog yelping, like a group of dogs, which is very terrifying.
In the middle of the ocean, you just hear dogs barking. You're like, what the fun?
So the next is her sister, Sibylla, and she is a sea nymph that has the ability to prophesize the death of those who are brave enough to ask her. So she could also prophesize what is to come and was known to write down the future events that was passed from one generation to the next. So I feel she's one we see a lot more in like Western pop culture stuff. The whole idea of like someone that could see into the future. She's the base of where all these characters kind of come from. And then finally is Achilles. Unlike his sisters, he didn't inherit the whole monster power. He didn't inherit the third eye kind of thing, but he got her beauty. And being a vain boy, he one day made the mistake to challenge Aphrodite to a beauty contest.
Classic.
And since he could never win, when he finally lost to Aphrodite, she punished him by transforming him into an ugly, lipless shark.
Kind of rude.
Yeah, just let him lose.
He just wanted a friendly competition, and she's like, nope, you're a shark now.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to deal with this. So, you're a shark. So it's kind of crazy because they all become water creatures, hence the relation to her and Poseidon.
I think the slides got messed up, by the way. This is, so
that's the
that
sun.
one's right, which is simple. Yes. This one's the third one, right? That's Achilles.
Oh,
the lipless.
Oh, yeah.
And then this one is Scylla.
Yes. Yeah. I goofed it a little bit. Yes, that's correct. That was my bad.
All good.
But
all good.
We got figured out. So now the next section is called Scare into Submission. So
Yes.
I never read the.
I was right.
That's it, right?
I was right.
I never really read the little subsections. They're just for my brain. But sometimes Ryan's like, you need to read those more. Yeah. They make me laugh. So, speaking of children, we're going to shift over to why she was so famous amongst the Rugrats in ancient Greek. So, the legend of Lamia was passed from generation to generation and quickly became a boogeyman-like figure at the time. So, being the most fearsome boogeyman monster, Greek mothers and caretakers would tell their kids of the horrifying legends of how Lamia would devour children who misbehaved. One legend said she would sneak into the homes of naughty children and snatch them up, wrapping them in thickly covered ivy and bryony. I couldn't find a way to pronounce that, Bryony, and would take them back to her cave, only to munch on them later in the safety of her own lair. Another legend tells of a child who snuck out one night and was captured by her, only to be swallowed whole that very instant. Thankfully, a nurse of the house knew the boy snuck out, and he was probably captured by Lamia, and it may not be too late to save him. Quickly and quietly, she entered the beast cave, knowing the creature was resting during the day, and this would be the only chance she had. The nurse then extracted the boy alive from Lamia while she was sleeping and got them both back to safety. Though safe, the boy was traumatized and never misbehaved again, fearing Lamia would come for him.
You heard it here, kids. Misbehave. Lamia's gonna get you.
That nurse did not get paid enough for that job. That's all I can say from that.
She needs 6 figures at least.
Yeah. If she was Gen Z, she's like, nah, this is after hours. I'm not doing this. So this spooky legend was so effective at getting children to behave, it was also told by mothers throughout Europe. And it wasn't long until she became a fairy tale-like figure that adults used to scare their children into good behavior. And then the next section is, oh no, she's hot.
Oh no.
She's hot. So
Put
now,
your bets in for lawful good now, everybody. At the very least, lawful neutral.
when this episode was sent to us as a fan suggestion, the person literally put child eating monster. Kimmy's gonna like this one.
And they were right.
They were right. I'm not saying they were wrong. So, if we have learned anything about human nature, is that if a monster has any type of human features, especially tits, it is going to be sexualized. So, Lamia soon evolved into a type of sultry, seductress succubus. Using her newfound abilities, she would enter the dreams of young men and seduce them. While in these dreams, she would bow chicka wow wow with them and then suck all the blood from their bodies.
She would what?
She would bow chicka wow wow.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
Like, you know, like.
A little bit of a.
I wasn't ready for that one either. She would clap them cheeks just like that. So, oh my god. I can't wait till we do succubus. That's gonna be such a fun episode.
It's gonna be 4 hours.
I'm staying at page 1 of Google for that though.
Yeah.
So
I'm not.
So once dead, her sexual appetite was satisfied, and she would devour the man's flesh until there was nothing left of him. There are some legends that described her as a sorcerer instead of a succubus. The sorcerer version of her would brew different types of love potions and use them to trick men into falling in love with her. And it would be her human form that she would show out in public. And this made it so that they would like come to her house and everything. It allowed her to not draw suspicion, and it helped keep a steady stream of meals coming to her door. And I wrote the note, like ancient Kardash or ogre eats, to this. And I thought that was the funniest thing I could have written at the time. Thanks. Ogre Eats is really good.
That's a good one.
Anyway.
That's going to be in the new Shrek, for sure. Like, I guarantee it, Ogre Eats is going to be said in the new Shrek.
I want to be like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme pointing at the theater.
Yeah. That was me! Stolen valor.
Yes. So over time, she was even considered a group of seductive female vampires. So the word Lamia was used to describe a group of sexy female vampires that would only seduce the men and drain them of their blood. So, well,
Sounds
that's all I could
money.
find on it, and that can mean a lot. So from succubus to sorcerer to vampire, it seems like any type of dangerous sensual creature was dismissed as nothing more but the sadly cursed Lamia. Now, see, you may be changing over on your alignment chart. Maybe.
I'm thinking lawful good.
Yes, come to the dark
Telling me
side.
it's a whole group of seductive vampires?
Count me in.
Count me in. I'm there.
You say less.
Drain me
All
of
right.
all my blood, if you know what I mean.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this is great. Oh, we're either puns or perv humor. There's like no in between.
Yeah.
You get one.
It's what it is.
Oh, okay. Now it's time for your favorite segment, Ryan. Who do you think is going to say what this beautiful, dangerous creature really is?
So let's see. We have
the church and we have science.
Don't let these sexually promiscuous women near you, or they might be vampires who are going to eat you. Also, if you're a kid, be good or you're going to get eaten. I'm going to go with the church.
Ding, 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 ding. There you go.
Shout out to the Pope.
Oh, you know it's going to be the church.
Yeah, I had a feeling with this one.
No doubt about it. So, Christian writers during the 9th century would warn others of the seductive potential of Lamia. So, one instance, Hincamar, Archbishop of Rheims, wrote in the Treatise on Divorce how Lamia was one of the many supernatural dangers that threatened marriages. So, in it, he warned men specifically to be wary of these reproductive female spirits and how they can easily ruin a marriage if a man gave in to sin.
Oh, yeah. That's what it
committed
is.
Adultery.
Your marriage. Yep. That's what you got to worry about.
That's all it is.
It's the vampire. It's not you guys. It's the vampires. Don't worry. It's not you. You're not the ones ruining your marriage.
It's all the side boob.
Yeah.
It just takes just one nip, apparently. Is all.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. That's all I got.
All right. And it's time for Modern Takes with Ryan. And I don't have anything except for one statement.
Oh, no.
You don't got to go to page 2 of Google. That's all I'm going to say. This has been Modern Takes with Ryan.
Let's just do the announcements. Let's go to the announcements. I don't. Oh, it's me first. Okay. Lore report time. Wasn't this when we do the wolf howl?
Oh.
If Mothman Counselor was a real person, he'd be so sick of our shit. The little plushie I have is just staring me down like it's disappointed. It's really great.
Son of a bitch. Tell them about Patreon.
Tell them about Patreon. So we have.
Bubba Mothman ain't messing around no more.
Like we're making him like a little bit of a
Bubba
smoker.
Mothman wants you to go to the moon mail.
Like Robin was saying, we got moon mail. So if you really like the art that I make for the show, it's just $16 a month, and you'll get a little envelope every month that will have 2 art prints, 2 stickers, and a surprise thing attached
Get
to
it?
it.
Because mail? Like,
Yeah.
like you get a package in the mail. You get it?
And we have a moon for our logo.
Get it? And the moon, like, circles Earth.
Moon mail.
Much like the mail circles the Earth before it gets to your house.
so support us. Check out the art. They're always themed. We have like an alien one right now with like little Area 51 security badges in it, which are really cute. Yeah, that's on Patreon. So
Mothman's gonna come get you if you don't.
wait, say that again. Say that again.
Mothman's gonna come get you. Oh yeah, I'm right here, Mothman. I'm gonna come get you if you don't do it. Yeah.
For non-video listeners, you should really watch us on YouTube sometimes. Okay, your turn.
All right, and great news if you're a listener, bad news if you're our livers, because Liquor and Lore is back. We started this like way back in the day during COVID when we had a lot of free time and reasons to drink, so we drank and read stuff. It's been on a bit of a hiatus due to life and the world coming back, but it's back. So if you want to listen to us enjoy a little sip of something that's not Coke Zero while reading some fairy tales from all around the world, check out our Patreon. Join any Patreon tier. We will be coming to y'all next month. Patreon.com/Aloreing. Also, maybe you'll get the unedited slideshow.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Free the nip.
Yeah.
All
just
right,
in case you're really bad at Googling,
Yeah, and it will be fun. It's just us reading short fairy tale stories. You can join at any level to listen to it. They're not going to be super polished. Bless our amazing editor, Chris. But this is going to be me just putting it together. So hold on, everybody.
Yeehaw. All right, let's get to that Aloreing alignment chart.
Wow.
Yep, so this is about what I expected.
Yes.
I didn't expect you to put it chaotic. So I'm glad you finally learned they can still be hot and also chaotic. Because before you'd put them all at lawful good, which made no sense.
No, because the reason she's at chaotic is she doesn't feel any remorse about it.
Yeah, she's just out there eating people.
Like La Llorona will snap and then she feels bad about it.
Does she?
And that's
Listen, really?
Listen.
Are you sure about that?
I will defend her till the day I die.
About that?
But like, I couldn't find anything that talked about her feeling like what she snapped, which was sad. But she's just crazy now. You know, it just messed her up. And there's no like remorse, or there's no recovery from it, or there's no empathy. It's just, she's just crazy. But I don't blame her for what happened.
I mean, just because someone had it rough doesn't mean they can eat children.
Yeah, well, they're bad children.
Good. I mean, are they?
That's the whole point.
The kids didn't take out the trash, so they deserve to get eaten. Like, I don't think that's a 1-to-1 punishment. Now, if that kid ate somebody, then fair punishment. But I don't think that's what was happening.
She stays where she's at.
I know.
Like, just look at her. I really don't think she's that evil. I feel.
Kimmy's just
look at her.
Staring at the butt, saying, "Yep, lawful."
Yeah. That cake is telling me it's a little bit good, so I'm gonna.
It is a good cake. So I went. So I kind of already knew about this one, so I went off of my preconceived notions of chaotic evil, because anyone who eats children is probably evil. But like just based off my story, I would just put her neutral, because in my story she doesn't really do anything. She just is vibing and gets killed.
Yeah.
But like just because I knew about like the children eating and all that, I went with chaotic evil, because she doesn't have any rules. She just is like, you are a kid, I'm gonna eat you.
You're a misbehaving kid. I do want to emphasize that. I know it doesn't justify it.
So you're telling me when you were little, if you forgot to like mop, you deserved to be eaten?
Ryan, I remember being 5 years old, and I stole something from the store, and my mom had me go. And no, listen, I stole a free sample from the store,
free sample?
And my mom didn't realize it was free, and I went to the store crying and apologizing as like a little 5-year-old, and then the lady was like, "Oh, it's okay, just don't do it." And then she was like, "You know, it was free, right?" So I was a good noodle.
Yeah.
I was fine. I wouldn't have been eaten by her. So maybe you're speaking because you weren't a good noodle.
I was
Ryan.
An absolute angel. But anyway, what? I have 2 takeaways this time, so I'll let you go first, because
you have 2?
I can't steal yours.
Oh man, what do I want my takeaway to be? Oh, I had it. Oh yeah. Don't trust a man with a magic box.
Oh man, that wasn't either of mine. So now, okay. The one, I'm gonna give both.
Okay.
We're gonna have 3 takeaways this episode. Number 1, it's fishy either way. Then my real takeaway is more of it's a bit of a long one, but boys, if you ever have a hot woman sleeping over and she slithers out of bed at night into the moonlight, just pretend you're asleep. You don't worry about it.
Let your girl shapeshift in the moonlight.
Yeah,
no questions asked.
Stay asleep. Don't get up. Just say, "Yep, there she goes again."
I want to do we'll do your fishy one instead of my box one, because I love that.
It's fishy either way.
Fishy either way. Woo! Okay, Ryan and I are now going to go record our Patreon after chat kind of thing. So thank you all so much for listening. This has been Aloreing.
You just sit right where you are and think about just having the most alluring day you've ever had in your entire existence, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.